this is gonna be really hard when they can't talk to me. So exactly, right? We don't teach in real estate school that you're running a business. We don't teach you about the finances of running a business, right? How many of you know you have to pay your own taxes? Okay, so you need to be planning for that. And I will tell you that's probably one of the #1 mistakes that we see agents make on a regular basis. So, all right, let's keep this thing rolling here. You know, successful agents, what do? They manage their money, right? You guys talked about things that you've learned. Linda shared, you know, her #1 takeaway is lead generate and be consistent with it. That's absolutely what you have to do every day, right? And so you guys have been going through a lot of these things as you've gone through the Ignite series about seller appointments and presentations and buyer consultations and previewing homes. How many of you guys have looked at more homes in the last 2 weeks than you've ever looked at? Well, the recording's in progress. Okay, hold on. You're gonna have to mute your sound. Mute your microphone. Hello? Okay, so you have to turn the sound off. Hello? Turn off the mic, turn off the volume on your computer. Okay, it's done. You got it? Yeah. Okay. All right. Lessons for August. Figure out the technology so we don't have this happen. Okay. All right. So it's about making sure that we're using the techniques and the models used by the most successful agents. And that's the beauty of this business, right? People have been here before, right? And so the fact that people have been here before, if we can do what they did, we're going to be better off, right? And that way we don't have to make the same mistakes that they made. So today, we're going to talk about some of the habits of how to have a financially sound business, okay? And the first one is set a profit goal that funds your life and pursue the activities to achieve it. We're going to spend a lot of time talking about how to set that profit goal and identifying what your big life is. We're going to talk about estimating, saving for, and paying your taxes on time. Okay, we're at mid-year. If you have not yet, if you've closed business, and some of you have, if you have closed business, you need to sit down and figure out how much money have I made year to date, right? Like, I know I have my income that came in, but I had expenses. You got to figure out what your profit is year to date, and are you at a point where you need to send some estimated taxes in? I'm not a tax professional. I would tell you to get one, okay? Use the proven models and systems of the MREA chart of accounts. They have given us a way to be able to do this and to track the different categories of our expenses, because in the MREA book, it shows you what percentage of your GCI should go to what type of expenses. Like marketing is 9%. So 9% of your GCI should go out and building back into your business. Remember, this isn't a salary situation where the income only goes one way. If you want to build a business, you have to invest in the business. Okay, so we're going to use that chart of accounts and those models to do that. Be fiscally savvy by reviewing your financials monthly. How many of you, whether it's your home budget or your business budget, like looking to look at that once in a while and see how you're tracking? You like to do that? Good, Sharon, because not many people do, right? Many people would much rather go, oh, there's $1 in the checkbook, I guess I can spend it, okay? And so, you know, looking at your financials every monthly, and I will tell you, I have an accounting degree, and you know what? The rules are the same, right? Mechanics have the worst cars, right? Construction people have all the undone projects at their houses. Accountants have the worst set of books for their personal life because they do it for everybody else. But once we started as a family, really sitting down and looking once a month, how much money do we owe where? How much income do we have? How much money's in the bank? What's in all these different accounts? You know what started happening when we looked at it every week or every month? The money in the bank went up and the amount of money we owed went down because we were aware of it. Right? There's a BOLD law for those of you that haven't taken BOLD yet, and it says what you focus on expands. Well, if you focus on your financials and figure out what's going on, you're going to just naturally be more aware. Okay? pay yourself a salary. As your income becomes repeatable and predictable, which it will, if you can figure out how to have X number of closings a month, if you figure out I need to have 2 closings a month, you're doing the activities to do that, your income will be predictable. Well, part of the predictability is then you pay yourself a salary just like you do if you were working for any corporation you want to pick. Okay. And number 6 is to prepare now for your financially secure future. What does that look like for you? Everybody's equations are different. Everybody's numbers are different, right? But start planning now. Get a financial advisor to help you understand those things. This is what those people that when you attend Mega Camp, and Mega Camp is coming and it's available, you can come online and join us. When you come to Mega Camp or you go to Family Reunion and you see those people on the stage, this is the stuff that they're doing. Okay, these are the things that are making them successful. Okay, why are these habits so important? Well, because many agents don't do it, right? As a productivity coach, and some of you are in my program, some of you are not, but as a productivity coach, we ask you to turn in your numbers every week. How many people did you talk to? How many appointments did you go on? How many listings did you take? How many, what's under contract? What closings? I don't do that because I want to just know, but it's getting you in the habit of reviewing where you are in your business on a weekly basis. And as you look at those numbers tell you a story. Okay. So it's the same type of thing. So many agents don't track their numbers, so they don't know where they're going. Many agents confuse income with profit. And we're going to spend a lot of time talking about profit here in a little bit. Many don't save for taxes, and then April 15th comes around and they have the, oh my God, what are we going to do moment? Which usually involves filing extensions and hoping they can get the closings to figure it out. They don't use the tools. They haven't read the MREA book. Please tell me you all have a copy of the MREA book. If not, talk to Elizabeth or your MCA in your office and make sure you get yourself a copy. Some people don't understand their financials and they just wing it. You guys, it doesn't come easy, but just start somewhere, okay? And as you continue to learn and you continue to work on it, the easier and the better it will become, okay? They don't plan for a regular monthly salary, and they're not preparing for their future. There's a couple of classes I want you guys to take a note of, and both of these are really good classes that talk about the financials and all of that type of stuff. One of them is called Agent Financials. I've not taken that one, although a lot of people have. The one that I really like that I think I would tell you to take first is one that's called Profit Camp. And they have it once or twice a year. It can be done in person once we start getting back to that by going to Austin and different regional events, or you can get it online. They'll put it online. I took that class and I was like, oh my goodness. And I understand this. I teach the business planning clinic class in this market center every year. I understand how to do this. And I learned a ton by going to Profit Camp. Debbie DeWitt, who taught you guys the first week, she said, Margaret, as good as you are, it finally clicked when I took Profit Camp. So please invest in yourselves, invest in your business. So when you have that first closing, set aside some money for education so you can take those classes.
And when you say they offer it, who are you speaking about?
KWRI. KWRI. Yep. Thank you for clarifying that. Okay. Gary always tells us, I have to figure out how to wake this thing. Whoops. Okay. Money is good for the good it can do. How many of you guys have heard the sayings, money is the root of all evil? Right? There's a lot of people out there that have really bad connotations around money, but the reality is money can do a lot of good, right? I mean, I think about, and again, my apologies to the Foothills team, but with the events of a few Mondays ago down here in Old Town Arvada, and how our team, our market center rallied and was able to support the Arvada PD by feeding them. I mean, that's huge, right? And so that's what good things happen with money, right? It's making a difference in the world and leaving a legacy, okay? One of the biggest things that you can do when it comes to the profit part is commit your goals to paper, whatever those goals are, right? And we're going to do a little bit of goal setting today, but commit them to paper, whether it's, I want to here's what I will tell you. If you write them down and you look at them regularly, they will happen. And I never believed this. True story. I will admit that. I didn't believe it, but I took a class from, what's his first name? His last name's Caruso. Good friend of Bob Isabel's. Anyway, doesn't matter. He has little 3x5 index cards he brings and he teaches class and he tells you just write down your goals. Right. And then I've gone to several of these kind of things. And I found when we were moving offices, I was going through a notebook and I found where I had written down where I was going to be. You know what? It's happening. And I didn't even know I was working on it. Right. But by writing it down, it became part of my subconscious. And all of a sudden, we're exactly where we need to be. And so it was kind of a goosebump moment. Actually, I just got them again. So whatever those goals are, and don't just say, I want to have $10,000 in the bank, then double it and make it 20, right? Push yourself, stretch yourself, because if you write it down, you're going to find a way to do it, right? And I know some of you guys have got some really big lofty goals, or you've got some challenges that you're facing, and let's get you through them, okay? And by writing down that goal, what that is going to help you achieve that, okay? Questions so far? I'm going to run over to the chat here real quick and see if there's anything in there. Yes, you did, Sal. You learned enough to pass the test back in real estate school. Definitely, definitely. I'm going to try something. I just want to see if it'll work. Sal, will you say something? Unmute yourself and say something and see if by chance we fix the sound problem.
Hi.
No, we didn't.
Morning.
Okay.
Okay.
All right. I just thought we'd try. We had to turn her volume off so we didn't get the echo.
Right, because then hers was going. Unless we turn yours off, and we put mine on, and then they'd just be listening from my mic.
Okay, hold on. We're going to test something here in the office. I don't know.
Okay, now
Test. Can you hear me, Sal?
Yeah, I can hear you. Can you hear me?
Yep. Yes, we can.
Hi.
We might have found a makeshift solution. Can you all hear me okay? Thumbs up. Perfect. And you get to talk to me now. I love it. Okay. All right. So we're going to look at a couple of different situations here. And we're going to decide which one of these two scenarios, and this is found on page 4 for those of you that have your participant guide with you. This is two different people of how they do things. So the first person, they made their sale and their gross commission was $9,000. After they paid their their company dollar in royalty, they received a check for $5,760. Of which Jessica put that $5,760 directly into her personal bank account, which meant that it went into her wallet and she was able to go shopping. She was able to book vacations, pay groceries, pay her rent, her mortgage, personal bills. She did nothing to invest in her business savings and did nothing for her tax savings. So that's scenario number 1. In scenario number 2, Jessica gets that same $9,000 in commission. Her check that she receives at the title company is $5,760. Of that, she puts $1,728 in her business account, and she puts $4,032 in her personal bank account. But it's not just directly in her checking account. She takes it and she divides it up. She put $1,613 into her tax savings account, and she put in her wallet $2,419 to pay her bills, go shopping, go on vacation, and whatever. So my question is,
which one of these two scenarios would you say is the most financially sound?
Two.
What do you think?
Second one.
The second one, does everybody agree? All right, absolutely. Now, everywhere we turn here in this particular session is we're going to assume 40% of the income for taxes. You need to look at your own tax situation. You need to talk to your own tax advisor, right? Everybody has a different situation, but for the modeling of this, they're using 40%. Okay? Questions so far?
How do you find a tax person?
You ask, just like we would find referrals for everything else. I would ask in the office who's got a great tax accountant. We've had several of them come in here. Ask your friends. There's good ones out there. I used to refer mine, but she says, please no more. She's getting ready to retire. She's like, I don't want any more because I'm trying to slow down. Otherwise I would be handing you all Carol's name. All right. Questions, thoughts? How many of you are going, oh my goodness, I got some work to do? A little bit. Just checking to see who we got. Okay. All right. So absolutely, the person who, saved away for taxes and stuff would be much more financially sound. Okay. So I want to spend a little bit of time here. And this really is the economic model directly out of the MREA. If you had it handy, I would tell you it's on page 157. This economic model shows you how we break down our income, the percentages of that gross income between cost of sales, operating expenses, and net income. Now, here's what I'm going to tell you. These are the percentages if your GCI is $1 million. Most of us aren't there, right? For many of you, you're newer agents and you're like going, I'm not there. So I'm going to teach you the theory, but then I'm also going to teach you how to alter the theory so it's more real for your life. Fair enough? Okay. I don't want to give you big numbers that scare you and make you run out the door when we don't need to do that, right? The numbers we're going to get, we want you to be scared, but not scared where you run, but scared where you go, I got this. All right. So our income is 100%. So we have to break those out. Cost of sales. Let's define cost of sales. Cost of sales is that is expense or money that goes away only when you have income coming in. In our world, cost of sales is your company dollar, your royalty, any referral payments that you send out, and any, what's the third one? We don't have many of them here, so I'm not even going to talk about it. It's leasing. It's leasing income. Okay. So cost of sales, so that's it, right? So how much is your company dollar max in a year?
21, 18?
18,000, right? How much is your royalty?
Is it 9? Oh.
3,000.
Well, that's
So
good.
your total cost of sales as an individual agent who's not making $1 million, you don't have a team, is $21,000. Now, if you are a buyer's agent on a team, yours may be different, okay? So your cost of sales is most likely not going to be 30% if you cap. When you cap, that cost of sales goes to 0, okay? Operating expenses should always be 30% of your gross commission income. So your operating expenses is all your expenses, right? Your office bill, your marketing expenses, your video expenses, your technology, your phone, your mileage, RE Colorado, CTM, all of those things. That's your operating expenses, okay? Anything it costs you to do business. Again, we're going to keep this pretty high level today, but I want to make sure you understand the basics on this. And then net income is profit. And that's what we're all about. Your profit should be 40% of your GCI. So using those numbers, our GCI of $10,000 commission check, $3,000 would go to cost of sale, $3,000 would be set aside to cover operating expenses, and $4,000 would be our profit. Okay? Questions so far? All right. Now we're going to talk a little bit about how money flows.
I do have a question before you keep
Yeah,
going.
yes, please.
So your operating expenses, would you say that, I mean, you listed some already and you said it was gonna be high level, but would you say to get a more thorough list, would that be from your tax accountant or would that just be a different conversation?
So actually, if you go to, so Jamie's got it open right there on that page 157, I think it is.
Yep.
You've got a list of the different types of expenses.
Oh, okay.
Okay. And then when you get to, we'll talk a little bit about the MREA chart of accounts, which you can find in Connect. That breaks it down literally to, if I hire a stager, what kind of an expense is that? If I hire a photographer, what kind of expense is that? If, I can't even think of any off the top of my head, right? I order business cards, right? What kind of an expense is that? So it breaks it all down to that level of detail for you guys.
Okay.
Okay?
Thank you.
Yep. So income, the left side of this chart is what most people do. Income comes in, expenses is what goes out, and profits what's left. Okay, that's how money flows. It comes in, we pay our expenses, and then we have a profit. But the reality is, we need to start with profit when we're planning. Because if we don't know what we need in profit, does it really matter? Right? So we start with what our profit goal is, and then we use those financial equations of the 30, 30, 40 to figure out what our gross income needs to be and what our expenses are going to be. So in order to find out what your profit goal is, you really need to sit down and go, what do I need? Okay, well, we probably have mortgage or rent, hopefully mortgages, right? So we got mortgages, we have groceries, we have car expenses, we have, maybe you want to pay off your credit card debt. In what we were funding this out for the last 6 months of the year, almost 5 months now. We would say, how much money do we need for the next 5 months? What do we need? Maybe you want to pay off a student loan in that time frame. Figure out what your profit is, and also fund the fun. Right? If you want to go on a month-long trip to Europe, how much is that going to cost? And if you're going to fund that out of this year's income, then we need to calculate that in the profit. Because if we don't build our goals in to fund the month-long trip to Europe, we're not going to have the money to go on a month-long trip to Europe. Make sense? Okay. All right. Expenses, we want to minimize them, but to maximize our net income, absolutely we want to minimize them, but don't get caught in the trap of not spending enough money to reinvest into your business. It's so important that you're always investing into your businesses. Okay? Income, where our incomes come from. Listing income, sales income means that's your buyers. Referral income. This is our agent-to-agent referrals. As you continue to grow and you get to know agents throughout the country, which makes a big difference, they're going to send you people, right? They're going to send you buyers or sellers to work with. On the same token, you're going to send out buyers and sellers, right? I've got 3 referrals out right now that are working with people I know in other parts of the country, and any day now there's a check that's going to show up in the mailbox. And then leasing income, we're going to skip that because we don't do that here. Okay, cost of sales. Okay, again, we talked about cost of sales being those things that if you don't have a sale, if you don't have a commission check, you don't have them. Okay, we'll kind of talk about that. Any more questions on that particular piece? All right, I got ahead of myself. All right, we are going to, and I think this is on, this should be in your workbook, this little chart. Page 9 in your facility, in your guide. So we want to talk about the difference of capping and what it does to your commission check. And I don't know if it doesn't do it. And I can't input on here. All right, we're gonna do it anyway. All right, so let's pretend that, so here's our formula if you've not capped. The formula is GCI minus company dollar minus royalty is your net commission. So in this very first box right here, let's use an easy number. Let's use $10,000. So we're gonna put $10,000 in there. And we're not capped, so we're gonna pay 30% to company dollar. So that's gonna be how much money?
3,000.
3,000. So that's gonna go in this second box. You put 3,000 right here. And then we have our royalty, which is 6%. So what's 6% of 10,000?
$600.
600, right? Nobody even got their calculators out. I'm impressed. We got all the math people on today's call. Okay, so if I take 10,000 minus 3,000 minus 600, what do I get? $6,400. So in this example, simple math is easy. That's why I did $10,000. Okay. Now, let's pretend that and they've got the math wrong on here, so we're going to correct it. Okay. So it says you've already capped on royalty. The reality is that we've capped on royalty, but not yet capped on company dollar, which happens all the time. What is the net commission check you received after cost of sale? If I capped on royalty, I don't have to pay it. So on that chart, take out royalty, scratch it through, and type above it company dollar. So right here where it says royalty, draw a line through that and change that to company dollar. And then our company dollar isn't 6%, it's what percent?
3, no.
It's 30. So this should say GCI minus company dollar parentheses GCI times 30% equals net commission. And I will tell you, you will normally cap on your royalty just a little bit faster than you do your company dollar. And I've already sent this in that they've got the math wrong on here.
How does that happen if you're paying both each time?
It's just the percentages, the 6 and the 3 don't always line up perfectly.
Okay.
Okay, but they're really close.
Okay.
Usually if you cap on your royalty on one closing, you probably aren't even paying full company dollar on the next one because it's like you owe just a little bit to get to cap.
Okay.
So they're always really close.
Okay.
Okay, but for the formula, so GCI, let's do $10,000. And if we're going to say our company dollar is 30%, that's still going to be 3,000, right? So our net commission now is how much?
70.
Somebody other than in the room with me, how much is my net commission now? So here, this is 10,000, which is my GCI, minus my company dollar, 3,000. What's my net commission check?
$7,000.
$7,000. Yeah, that is correct. Thanks, Sal. All right, now we've capped on both. How much is our commission check?
$10,000.
$10,000. How many of you want to get there? It's a great place to be. Okay.
Margaret, would you be willing to just quickly remind me what the difference between company dollar and royalty is?
Yep, absolutely. So company dollar is what goes into the market center. That's how we pay the salary of the staff. That's how we keep the lights on. That's how we provide the training and the education and all of that type of stuff. So the company dollar goes local.
Okay.
Royalty goes to Keller Williams International.
Thank you.
That's the easiest way to explain it.
Okay, thank you.
Okay. Good question. Anybody else got questions? You ready to make it real?
More?
More real. I like keeping it real. All right. So the next thing is we need to build your future, right? And so what we're going to do is we're going to spend some time determining how to come up with your profit goal And we're gonna be working backwards on that. And we're gonna use the standard example that every new agent tells me. Actually, they tell it to everybody, not just me. It's the thing that we do through everywhere. And again, they have some math problems in here. So I'm going to help you fix this. So every new agent tells me that they want to net $100,000. How many of you said that? No? What was your number, Sal?
In the ballpark between 40 and 60.
Okay. Most people say 100, so you're unique because that's just a nice round number. It sounds like really, I don't know what it is about it, but we're gonna use it, okay? So this 100,000 net profit goal is after taxes. So you'll remember I told you that they do a 40% tax rate. So if we want to put $100,000 in our bank account after taxes, we need to figure out what our gross profit goal is. So to get to our gross profit goal, we're going to take the 100,000 and we're going to divide it by 0.6. And that's going to tell us that our gross profit goal needs to be 166,666. Okay, are you with me so far? All right, now, you'll remember I told you that they used a cost, when we say our profit's going to be 40% of our GCI, that is true if you have a team and you truly have 30% cost of sale. Unless you're running a team, unless you're Diane Howard, unless you're, actually that would probably be the only one. The Kesslers, right? Where they're splitting with buyer's agents, right? I'm headed down that path. You don't have cost of sales as an individual agent at that level. So I'm going to step away from the MRE math because I want this to be real for you, okay? So what we need to do to get to what our gross commission is going to be is that we're going to take that gross profit goal of 166,666 and we're going to add to that our total cost of sale. And in our market center, and I think Eric, you guys are the same up in Foothills, I think our total royalty plus company dollars 21,000. Okay, so out to the side of the gross profit, I want you to just write, 166,666 plus 21,000 equals 187,666. What that is now a reflection of is the total of your profit plus your cost of sales. Okay, so that number 187,666 should reflect 70% of your gross commission income, right? Because if our profit is 40% and our cost of sale is 30, if I add the two together, that would be 70%, correct? Okay, thanks. Actually, thank you, because I can't always tell if math is easy over Zoom. So, and I don't have a whiteboard behind me to even draw on. Okay, so to figure out what our GCI needs to be, they have here 416, but that doesn't work in our example because they're assuming a 30%. So to find out what our gross commission income is, we're going to take that 187,666 and we're going to divide it by 0.7 because that's 70% of the gross. So 187,666 divided by 0.7, what do we get?
$268,094.00.
There we go, 28 as a matter of fact. So where it says gross commission income, where they have the 416,666 on the screen, I want you to show that as 268,094. Okay. All right, so now how many houses do we need to sell to get $268,094 in GCI. What do you believe? How many of you have had sales? How many of you have anything under contract? Anybody? Linda, nothing yet? Okay. I don't want to use $7,500. I don't think that's real in our market. Okay, so if I want you to walk away here with a real number that says you're going to make $100,000 after taxes, then let's use a real commission number. Okay, so we can use 10 or we can use 12. What do you guys want to do? $12,000 is only a $400,000 house, you guys.
12.
Let's do 12. So if we take that $268,094 and divide it by $12,000, how many houses do we need to sell? I'm sorry, give it to me, Ashley.
22.
22. Okay, you just told me that we can make $100,000 after taxes and I don't even have to sell 2 houses a month. How many of you went into real estate thinking you can close more than 2 houses a month? Not yet. Some of you are part-time, so I'm going to give you a call past that. But honestly, right, if you're lead generating consistently and you're a full-time agent, 2 transactions a month, easy, right? And then you can take a whole month off to go to Europe, right? If we only need 22, we do that in 11 months. That's 2 a month and we can go to Europe for a month. Who's going with me? Love it. Love it, love it, love it. Did that all of a sudden make you guys go, ooh, I can do this? Right? This became an achievable number, right? Now, we're not going to go there today, right? But 2 closings a month. Basically, if you double that, you'll get your appointments per month. That would be 4. That's 1 a week. If you can go on 1 buyer consultation and or 1 listing consultation a week, you will more than get these numbers. Okay, but let's finish the chart because that's what we're here to do. Sorry, I went into coaching mode for just a moment there. Okay, anticipated cost of sale, 21,000, right? You already told me that. And then your operating budget, multiply your GCI. So your GCI is that 268,000 number, and you divide that by 30%, and that's your expenses, which should be about $80,000. Now, before this class, if I said to you, I'm going to give you a formula where you're going to spend $80,000 in business expenses, how many of you would have like turned white or green and passed out? Yep, all of you, right? I mean, I look at mine and I'm what, we're spending how much money, right? But the reality is you got to put money out there to make money back, right? The beauty is we're in an industry where we can not spend a lot of money up front, right? Linda's been out door knocking. She proves it on Facebook every week. I see her, right? And so door knocking doesn't cost anything.
Nope.
Right? Except a pair of shoes and a few pieces of paper.
Some sunblock,
And
guys.
some sunblock, right? Questions on this plan for your future with a profit? This is the meat of today's session.
Just so that thank you for all of it. Just so that I'm clear, and I make sure I understood this correctly. Anticipated cost of sales, so the royalty and the company cash cap. Yep. That would be more for a team. Like the team would be the one paying that. Is that what you're saying?
So every team is set up differently.
Right.
So I would have to defer. I don't know how Diane does that.
Sure.
Right. So the typical Keller Williams model is the agent still pays the company dollar and the royalty.
Okay.
Right. Now some teams, they take it out of their portions. I don't know how she's set up. So you're right. If you're on a team, you guys, you may have 0 budget, your operating budget, right? But you're also giving up where your operating expenses are. instead of paying that out to marketing and that's your split to your team.
Okay,
So a little bit different for those of you on the team, but we can back into that offline. if you
Okay.
need to.
thank you.
Yep. Questions? I have run the math both ways, whether you're an individual agent or a team, and at this level, it comes out about the same.
Okay.
Okay, with how the team splits are.
Okay.
Okay? Okay. So. It's out of order, my apologies. Okay, so. Page 11 in your guide should have, can I see that really quick? Oh, cool. You're gonna do this homework. Okay, so in order for us to really make this happen, you got some things you need to do. Okay, so if you look at page 11 in your workbook, these are those best practices, right? And so it's Friday. We're gonna actually wrap this session on time, which I'm super excited about. We might even get done a little early. Gain clarity on your big life hopes and dreams. Spend some time thinking about, and don't do it for a full year, you guys. Just get yourself to the end of the year. Get yourself to the end of the year, okay? And say, what do I need, right? What does my life look like? And then maybe, here's the other thing. Then think about 5 years from now. What does 5 years from now look for you, right? Does 5 years from you, maybe you're newly
There you go.
Hey, welcome back, everybody. Can you hear me?
Sharon says yes.
Sharon says yes, okay. All right.
Your presentation's done though.
Of course it is. I can fix that though. Hi, can you see my screen now too?
Mhm.
Awesome, okay. Whew. I'm gonna have to talk to my friends over at Comcast and tell them to fix their internet problems. So, sorry guys, all of a sudden you guys, it was really crazy because I look at your faces a lot and I'm like, going, they all went away.
They'll ditched.
You all disappeared on me. But I want you to think about, where do you want to be, right? And write down those goals. Spend an hour dreaming. So the question came up in the room while we were offline is that in the checklist, it says who. Well, who do you think the who is? You. Who's going to gain clarity on your big life? Now, maybe for those of us that are married, for those of us that have significant others in our lives, maybe they're part of that discussion, right? Maybe your dream is that you and your significant other meet, both of you are in real estate together in 5 years or 10 years, right? Maybe your family goal is that you're gonna retire in 15 years, right? So maybe the who on the gain clarity is you and a significant other in your life. Okay, that could be the who. Set up your personal and business budgets. Again, depends on who that is, right? And absolutely, you might be a partner with that. Maybe setting up the business budget is you and your productivity coach. Now, setting up your business entity. How many of you remember from real estate school what commingling is? Anybody on the phone tell me what commingling is?
It's mixing your personal funds with your commission. I mean, with
Exactly,
your
right?
your
Yeah.
income from sales.
Exactly. Commingling when I own a trust account and commingling it in with my regular business account if I own rentals is a bad thing, right? Well, guess what? Commingling your personal and business monies is also bad. So if you have not yet done so, please go set up a business account. Take some money out of your personal account and fund your budget, your bank account. Put $1,000 in it, right? Or 500 or whatever it is, because you guys are paying office bills right now, right? That money's got to come out of somewhere. So set that money into a business account, pay your business expenses out of that business account, because I will tell you, it's a whole lot easier to do your taxes or do your monthly financial review if you have one bank account and one credit card that's for your business. Okay? If you need additional bank accounts for taxes, expenses, and other savings, set those up too. Right? Download and use the MREA chart of accounts. Okay, if you have the luxury that you're at a point in life where you have an admin, maybe that's the admin who downloads that chart of accounts. Okay, purchase download tax accounting software. Do you? I came from the corporate world where we ran everything in Excel. I can tell you, I can write an Excel spreadsheet. Like, oh, I can show you what I do. You guys are seeing my screen. I was trying to figure out how I was going to do this. Hold on, I gotta find it. Oh, here we go. Margaret Mead Homes. That might be a good place to look for stuff. I can show this one. So for me, because of how my brain thinks from my background, I have this very large Excel spreadsheet that has a budget, right? And I break that budget down monthly as far as what my income is going to be between listings and buyers, what my coaching income is going to be, what my commissions to the office is going to be, and what my expenses are going to be. This is a template. This isn't really what we're running off of. And then I have a place every month where I can go in and put what I spent money on, right? Oh, I had a closing, so I had income, but then I had company dollar I paid out of it. I paid a TC out of it. I made a donation to KW Cares out of it. Okay, and then mine fee, right? So I can do, this is literally what I hand my accountant. At the end of the year, I hand it to her. It shows my budget versus my results. She uploads it in her system. She does my taxes in a blink of an eye. Okay, you can use Quicken. Jan's business taxes. By the way, the software, a lot of people use Quicken or QuickBooks, and they actually can upload the MREA chart of accounts in there. Calculate and pay your taxes, your estimated taxes. And then, you know, prepare for your future, right? Between insurance and savings and investments, whatever that looks like. Okay, so take that list. Put some dates on it. You could probably do most of this in 2 hours. The biggest one is the clarity on your life and dreams and your goals and your budgets. Questions? No? All right. So one more thing I want to talk about, when we talked about cost of sales, and we talked about doing the, you pay your company dollar, you pay your royalty. For those of you that are in coaching, you may pay your coach, or if you're on a team, you pay a split. There's also something else that you can pay out of your commissions. So I'm going totally off of Ignite for a minute, but I'm passionate about it. How many of you guys have heard of KW Cares? Okay, good. How many of you have heard of K-Wave Cares or Foothills Cares? So KW Cares is at the corporate level, at the internationals level. And KW Cares is where associates around the world donate money into this 501c, and it is there to support our agents at a time of need. Examples of times of needs is when an agent comes up with unexpected expenses, whether it be health, a fire, or a natural disaster. We are headed into hurricane season, as well as all the fires that we currently have in Colorado. Oh my God, I'm gonna do it again. I have seen us go out with 3 semis loaded of supplies into these places where natural disasters have taken place to help people. Well, those things don't come cheap. So you can, as part of your commissions, make a donation to KW Cares, and it automatically comes out of your paycheck. And with 180,000 agents around the world, if everybody put in a single dollar every time they had a closing, what would a difference that would make? So if that's where your heart leads you, I just want you to know that that's there. Other things that you can put on your green sheet, they also have, I know in our office here, it's called, they have something for those of you that are up in Foothills. I know that those are also there. And that goes, it's a local thing for our agents here. The best example I can give on that is a couple of years ago, we had an agent who had a house fire. They lost everything. Yes, there's help, there's insurance. You're absolutely right. But there's expenses that happen before the insurance gets there, and we got them. We got the kids back to school with backpacks and supplies. We got food in the pantry. We paid that, helped them get into some temporary housing. Oh, and some clothes on their back, because the only thing they had was the clothes that was on their back when the fire hit. Mm-hmm. So I'm passionate about those things, and so I always like to share that with you guys so that you know that that's there to help our fellow agents. And a lot of us don't know. We don't tell new agents, right? Mm-hmm. And so I am telling you that you can take those monies and you can have them pulled out of your commissions when you get paid. The other ones you can do KW Kids Care, and that's for some education that Gary does with kids. There's a couple of other ones, but those are the big 3.
Where do you find, like, if you wanted to take a look at a list of them with descriptions or something, is there a place for us to look for that?
So funny, I got an email, I don't have to leave it. I got an email recently, and I'll ask Stacy if she has it, but check your inbox. There was an email that came out in the last couple of days from KWRI about KW Cares. So you guys may all have recently got an email about that explains where that money goes. Mm-hmm. And then each of the market centers does their own thing. Okay. All right. So am I still sharing?
No.
Good. All right. So what I want to know is, what'd you learn today?
I learned I need to get my butt in gear on the financial piece.
Okay. Ashley, what did you learn?
Sorry, I couldn't unmute mine. I learned that it's really important to set up a budget and make sure, that you're putting money into your business, and just how much goes, it does go a long way, and you'll see the return of it. So.
Absolutely. All right. Lisa, how about you? I saw you just took yourself off mute. What did you take away today?
Yeah, I think ultimately just trying to kind of set up that budgeting, make sure that everything is intact, and also understanding my net versus my gross.
Perfect. So this was a good one.
Mhm,
Yes. All right. One more thing, business planning clinic. Make sure that you attend. Okay. All right. So we are almost back on time. I love that. Okay. So how many of you have your Ignite, what's this thing called? Scripts book. Everybody got your scripts book printed down? Okay. I want you to turn to page 10, and this is the script books that's for essentials, for elementals, not essentials. So one of the biggest habits that we as agents have, right, is lead generation, right? But how many of you go, but I don't know what to say? Right, whether we're lead generating or anything, right? There's times where we go, I don't know what to say. And I am hopeful, and you guys are about to validate for me, that the instructors have been working with you on a variety of scripts as we've gone through this boot camp in the last 2 weeks. Hopefully most of them have been doing that with you. So I wanted to do something a little different because I wanted to make sure that we're not just giving you the script of, hi, Ford, I'm in real estate, I'm helping 56 families this year, who do you know, like, would love to work with you, blah, 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 right? You guys got that down, yes? All right, I wanted to go into some of the objection handling. And so if you go to page 10 of the Elementals book, there is some seller objections. And so what I want us to do is I want us to do these in a way so that these are things that you can use on a regular basis, right? So, and I know some of you have come to the scripts and role play that I run here in the Market Center a couple of days a week. So Sal, I think you may have been here when we did these one day. But we're going to talk through these because people are going to say these things to you, right? We need an agent with more experience, right? We need to think it over. Another agent will charge less. Why won't you reduce your commission? Are you prepared for those questions today? Some of you probably not, except if you're in Diane's team, you guys script and role play these things all the time. So what we're going to do is, here's what we're going to do. We're going to mute, how can I do this? We're going to mute everything here. So Sharon, Ashley, and Sal, and Lisa, you guys are going to script and role play. So you're going to have to unmute your phones, but we're going to make it so we can't hear you.
You can do breakaway rooms.
Right, but if I do that, we're going to end up in the rooms. I can do breakaway rooms.
Yeah.
We can try it. I'm just afraid that we're going to not end up in the same breakaway room, and that's what I want us to do. I can assign people, I think, actually. Let's do that. I'm going to assign us into breakaway rooms. And so what we're going to do, so when you do script and role play, one of you is going to say, well, you know, I just really want to think that we need to think this over. We need to talk it over overnight. And here's then the other person who's the agent is going to say, I hear you saying you want to be confident. If you were 100% confident in me, you wouldn't bring this up. If you knew I was going to do everything possible, you'd sign. The truth is, you can never know that. Let's sign the agreement and know that you can cancel with me anytime you're not satisfied. I don't like that script as I read it. Okay. But the point is that you might be in a situation where that one works, right? So if you come to the scripts and role play, I always give you lots of different options to use for different scenarios, right? My favorite one on we need to think it over is, well, 3 heads are better than 2. So what do we need to think about?
Oh, I like that.
Or I thought this one was going down the point of what have I not explained to you, right? But anyway, the trick to scripts is to read the responses word for word for word. Okay, they're gonna feel weird. How many of you guys felt weird doing these before? No, good. All right. Sharon, you used to do some cold calling though, right? Like this is kind of back in your wheelhouse if I remember correctly.
Sort of, but not for sales. I've worked for like the census where I've had to go up to doors and actually, yeah, with Avon too, same thing.
Yep. Okay, so I'm gonna break us into rooms. We're gonna spend about 15 minutes script and role playing. And I'm gonna put you all together and let's see how this works. So bear with me as I figure out how to do this. Breakout rooms. All right, I got names. I'm gonna assign them manually and I want 2 rooms. Create. Room number 1. Let's go this one and
Some feels
this one.
Yeah.
And room 2.
aggressive a little.
Yeah.
All right, you guys, we will see you. We'll be see you back here in a few minutes. Okay.
And I mute on my end, right?
Yeah.
You go.
Yay, everybody came back. How was it?
It was
Good.
good. It was a little uncomfortable reading. It sounded like I was reading from a script, so I need to get more comfortable continuously going over it to make it sound more like a conversation.
Exactly, and some of those are not necessarily the scripts that I would choose, because there's other alternatives, but yet at the same time, it gives you an idea of some of the words you can use. Where's my sheet of paper? I have it out. You know, it gives you an idea of some of the words that you can use or different ways to say it, right?
Right.
And, you know, I don't know what happened in your rooms. I didn't jump in because of the tech problems, but, you know, the conversation here in the room with Linda and Jamie was, you know, well, let's figure out a way to say that differently, or let's figure out a different way that feels less cumbersome. So awesome. So the key is just to practice them, right? And you're absolutely right, Ashley. The more we practice them, the better we're going to get. So last thing for today is, what's the one thing we need to do every day?
Lead generate.
Lead generate. So let's jump on the phones. We're going to mute everybody. You're going to mute yourselves. I'm going to actually make some calls as well because I've been gone for 2 weeks, so my people have been ignored. And let's make some calls for, I don't know, 20 minutes or so, and then we'll get back together and grab a bite to eat. Sound good? All righty. Mute away. Hey, can anybody hear me?
Yes, I can hear you.
Thank you, Casey. So Ashley and Sal, go ahead and finish up whatever call you're in and then come back.
Gangs or other criminal enterprises who then use it to fund more crime.
These aren't copies in the traditional sense.
Casey, you're early, you know that, right?
Yes, I do, but I'm sitting, excuse me. Yes, I know.
Okay.
Interacting in some complex manner with
I don't like being late.
Sure.
Can you explain to me what you're?
Okay, Craig the Dasher should be showing up shortly. All right, so Linda, Jeannie, Sal, and Ashley, how did our calls go? Did we reach anybody?
I got someone's address and birthday because I'm getting contact information by sending out birthday cards to people.
Yes, I love it. That's a great reason to call people.
Yes.
Sal, you got to talk to somebody? Tell me about it.
So yeah, I got to kind of chat with the gentleman that I speak to. He's it's part of my vendors list. He does roofing inspections, and I was just kind of setting up a meeting with him to try to see how we could put something together. Like I did mention, he has lots of people who go and door knock for his company, and I wanted to sit down with him. Maybe I could put something together with each other so we can do that.
Love it. The vendor business to business referrals. Great way to build a business. Ashley, I don't know if you're back with us. There's our DoorDash. There she is. Hi, how did it go?
It actually went really well. I had a neighbor that just moved in down the street, and I talked to them about a week ago, and they said they had a really bad experience with their agent. And I kind of walked away from that, saw it as a missed opportunity. So I went ahead and called her, and I was like, I know you're obviously not in the market to move, but I would love you to use me as, a reference, and I'm going to drop off business cards to her.
Wonderful. And she didn't hang up on you, and you lived to talk about the conversation.
Exactly.
I love it. I love it. Well, we're at the top of the hour. So our 2 hours are done. So we're going to take a quick 30-minute break. I think I'm going to try and fix the technology on my side so that I can at least use my own computer's microphones and stuff. So we're going to shut this down, Casey, and then I'll relaunch it probably around 11:15. And we'll see you all later.
See you soon.
Bye.